Constitutional Conversations is a series of discussions by America's leading scholars about the principles, framing, ratification, and implementation of constitutional government in the United States. This series is hosted by the James Madison Memorial Fellowship Foundation of Alexandria, Virginia.
Washington's role in achieving the ratification of the Constitution is a fairly complex one. It begins, of course, all the way back in 1783. It begins as we progress towards the Annapolis Convention in 1786. That's the convention that leads to the call of the Constitutional Convention. That had been preceded by a Mount Vernon conference. That was all tied up with Washington's plans for building a network of canals that would eventually connect the Ohio River with the Potomac and other rivers. So Washington's ambition, his vision for an empire in the United States was part and parcel of the process of developing the Constitution and then fighting for its ratification. Washington did not take an open public role in the ratification debate. He wrote no essays, he published no opinions. He was even careful in his correspondence because he knew his correspondence often would become open to the public, whether someone had intercepted it along the way or the recipients had turned it over. But he stayed in constant contact with the people who were engaged in carrying on the political campaign. Alexander Hamilton, James Madison in particular, those two foremost, but many others besides. What he did was to, as he himself said, read every single thing that had been published and form a judgment about it and communicate with others about what needed to be done to shore up the effort to secure approval, ratification of the Constitution. He was anxious about it. He was anxious about the state of Virginia, where Patrick Henry was thundering forth with great thunderbolts of opposition, calling those who had approved the Constitution unfaithful to the promise of liberty in the Virginia Constitution and in the Declaration of Independence. So Washington was there in the heat of it in terms of his awareness, in terms of his communication with individuals privately, and in a sense in terms of giving direction. But he was completely invisible from a public perspective, not stepping forth publicly either to sit in the convention or to take a position announced in public presses.
Constitutional Conversations is made possible by a generous grant from the Fairleigh S. Dickinson Jr. Foundation. Constitutional Conversations is made possible by the James Madison Education Fund.